Hey there everyone, it's Bren here and welcome back to this week's garden update. I've noticed in the morning times now the air has become a lot more crisp. I absolutely love this time of year because I feel like you can get a lot more garden jobs done. For example, like moving mulch, digging up new garden beds if you like, or digging up clumping perennial plants and transplanting them around the garden. Well, this week what I did was I actually ended up almost finishing off putting my seedlings and seeds in the raised garden bed area. However, I have seen some white cabbage butterflies fluttering around, and I have checked the back of some of the brassicas and I've spotted some eggs. However, I haven't got on top of all of them, and I did spot some of those caterpillars munching away at some of my seedlings, so some of them may need to be replaced. Also this week I went and visited a beautiful garden about a half an hour away from where I live called Perennial Hill. I'll put the link to their website in the description below. Oh my goodness, I think it was the best open garden I've ever been to, because it is exactly what I strive to create. I opened the gate and there was an array of plants and colours and textures. It just was such a massive inspiration to me, and I'm just really delighted that I went to see their beautiful garden. Anyway, back to this week's video. So I will start off in the front garden, looking down from the front porch, and we'll have a look at I've got a cosmos that I planted for the first time this year. It's called Sensation Sunset Yellow Cosmos. I'm pretty happy with how they've turned out. Also, I'll show you a selection of items that I got for free, which I'm going to be upcycling over the cooler months to create some nice garden features. Also have a look at some bromilliads which are flowering as well in the back garden. So let's just get straight into the video. I hope you enjoy it. So just sit back and relax for a few minutes and I'll show you around. So I'm standing at my front porch, and this is the garden bed just down here, and a few years ago this was all just grass. I did have this camellia here which was already there, and this Japanese meadowsweet was there also, but everything else I've put in here. It's really starting to form more of a naturalistic look at the moment. There are some gaps. I had a plant die there, it just didn't make it. It was a daisy. So I have all the lamb's ears there, which put out some beautiful flower spikes in summertime. And I have a few natives. I have this native grevillea, which is a low mounting shrub. I have these brassicas, which have these lovely little purple daisy like flowers on them. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving this a good hard cut back, and it should bounce back by springtime. Otherwise it can get a bit leggy. See the way it's kind of stretching out and it's looking a bit thin here, but with a nice big cut there it should be absolutely fine. And of course my geraniums, this is a real favourite of mine here, the slime green one. I have this here, and this kind of look is exactly what I'm going for. I love everything intermingled. You got the geranium, the lamb's ears, the catmint. I have some bulbs underneath here as well. There's some Dutch irises. Big section here. This is full of pincushion flowers. They've got a long spike stem, and then on the top they have a lovely flat flower, mauve flower. But this winter or this autumn I'm going to plant up this whole area here with some of those foxgloves that I showed you last week. Okay, so there are a couple of more areas that I want to show you in the front garden. Over here I've got a camellia, and it's full of buds. There's another one just here beside me, and you can see there's lots of buds forming. This one here is a white one, and the other one I just showed you is going to be, it's like a deep pink colour. This section here I've always found it hard to fill up because it gets quite a lot of shade, but it's starting to finally fill out a bit. Yeah, and I know shade, and you wonder, oh, what's this doing here? The lavender. Well, this lavender, I'll just show you here. I've actually staked it up because I'm trying to clear the pathways a bit more because of the snakes. But if I pull this out, you can see that it's really like it's been stretching for the light. It's done that all along here, and actually I don't mind that. I think it kind of breaks up that concrete path bit. There's another lovely big bush there as well. And with these lavenders, they only really last maybe about 5 years and they have to be replaced, so I'm going to really miss this one. I might do a bit of a staggered replacement so that they aren't all gone at the same time. So this section's around by the side gate, which I've shown you before. There you go, that's where the passion fruit vine's growing. I've got all the cosmos. There are a few new little flowers that have popped up here that I wanted to show you. The first one here is the Sensation Yellow Sunset Cosmos. It's gorgeous. If you have a look here, oh, there's some kind of little bug on it. Not sure what that is again, but I'll leave him or her alone. We've got quite a lot of buds here as well, so that will open up. There's some more flowers up here. I'll have a look at these ones. Oh, that one shows a bit more of a yellow tint in it. Hopefully you can see that. I'm really liking this garage door, the blue. It goes really well as a backdrop, especially against the Mexican sunflowers. What else have I got in here? I have some coleus. I'm not a massive fan of coleus. I never seem to be able to grow it very well, but this one here seems to be okay. And coleus propagates extremely well. I have tried in the past to just pop it in a jar of water and it roots form. There's a couple of edibles here. I have these. I harvested a few of these this week. These are they're called mini yellow capsicums. I have quite a few there. I'm not really sure if they're going to completely ripen to yellow because unfortunately the weather, well, it's unfortunate, I don't know, I'm kind of happy in a way, but the weather's really cooled down, so I might end up having to harvest these at this stage. I do have another plant over here which I harvested. I think these are the Chinese giant capsicums. I just did a harvest yesterday, so I don't think there's much there. Over here you've got the Queen Anne's lace kind of flopping over. This is actually the chocolate one. Isn't that so dreamy? I've showed you them before as well. And here's a lovely salvia, not quite sure the name. Some more flowers there, butterfly flowers. And over here, this whole section blocking the garage. So don't really use that, but look, we have another garage that we can use, but it's completely blocked it off. These are all called African daisies, and these like spot flower throughout the whole year, but in springtime this is going to be absolutely covered in flowers. So gorgeous. The ones these have all self-seeded, and the ones that we get are this kind of like purpley mauve colour, and I also get some white ones, which there aren't any here at the moment. Got some more of these flowers here. What else? More salvias. There's a dahlia back there. The amaranth is still going. So I have to do a bit of seed collecting, like these seeds here. I'll have to come in and snip some of those flower heads off. For this one here, you can see it's ready to collect. See them all falling into my hand. I also noticed over here that some of the Queen Anne's lace seeds are ready to be harvested. I'll have to go inside and get some paper bags. Oh, look at these lovely little ladybugs. There's one there on the stem as well. So in Australia, twice a year we have this thing called council pickup. So people can put their rubbish out on the curbside outside their home, and the council comes and picks it and brings it to the skip. So pretty much it gets sent to landfill. And every time it's on, I have a bit of a drive around and pick up some things, and this is what I got this week. So here's an old bird cage. These look beautiful. I've got one hanging in a tree. I'll show you that in a bit later. You can take the base off, put a plant inside, succulents, lots of things you can do with that. You can even spray paint it. I'll probably just leave it natural. Here, this I've noticed over the last couple of years. I've seen a lot of these in council pickup. These are fan covers for, you know, just like a fan to put in your lounge room. Some of the bigger chain stores sell them really cheap, like for $10–15, and they just don't last. Anyway, what I'm doing with them is I'm actually collecting them, and I'm going to use these as like I'm going to put them all together. You know the way people use the wheels, old bicycle wheels? I'm going to use these and make trestles out of them. I think that will look kind of cool. So I have a few of them, and those projects that I'm going to do, I will wait until the garden, there's not as much to show you in the garden, and I'll incorporate maybe DIYs into my garden update. Oh, look at that, you can see all the buds off the chrysanthemums. They are ready to burst into colour. And I have this thing for cases, suitcases. I've got a ton of them, and I am going to upcycle these in my garden as well, although these ones are quite nice. I don't know, no, I'll upcycle them. So I've seen people like put plants in them and just doing some different kind of garden features, and that's just like a wooden box that I got as well. So I'm going to use them. You'll probably see them over the next few months. I'm going to try and be a bit creative, I think. And here's some more of those African daisies, my geranium, my go-to one. I have some bromilliads here, and the reason why I'm over in this section is I wanted to show you the an old cage that I got, bird cage. I think this one was more of a decorative one, but I actually found this. You can see it there. I was going to spray paint it, but I think I'll just leave it natural. And I had that's the old man's beard. It's a air plant, but the birds have come and taken lots of it, so I don't know, it's quite expensive to buy. I was lucky enough that this one here, which was quite full, it was probably down to about here, I was given to by someone. Okay, so next place we're going to go is, we'll go to the front garden, back garden. Okay, we'll go through this side gate here. Okay, so this is my raised veggie garden area. I've pretty much filled it up now with little seedlings and direct sown seeds. I think it's starting to fill out already. I'm pretty happy with it. We'll have a look and see what's going on in there. That's the pineapple sage that I showed you last week, taking over the place. There's another salvia there just falling over, but you can see I've got there's a lovely yellow chard, calendulas, some little radishes popping up. I have had a bit of trouble already with the white butterfly caterpillars. I'll show you over here. I have some little seedlings that have been munched on. Look at these. Oh, this is just, it just annoys me. This was, or is, it'll probably come back, is a red cabbage. Oh, there's another one of my Botanica eggplants. And I've got some straw flowers, oh not straw flowers, corn flowers in here. And I have some violas. I showed you all this last week in last week's video, but you can see everything's starting to come up a little bit. I transferred some leeks in there. You have some little flowers popping up, and all my lovely peas are really coming up now. I'm delighted, and there hasn't seemed to be too much damage on them. I'm gonna have to get on top of doing this trestle, putting some rope along here so they have something to attach to. I did end up buying this one this week because I couldn't resist. Look at this, doesn't that look good? It's a purple broccoli. Look at the colour of that. I love like adding nice different colours just to the winter garden. Okay, and I'll go and have a quick look down the back section of the back garden, which is just around the corner here. Have a look down there and see what's going on. Still amazes me all the oranges on this orange tree. Wow, that's exciting. Something really beautiful to look forward to. You can see my little seedlings, poppy seedlings are starting to come up. I put some more of that calendula in here. Oops, sorry. And on the other side I've got some snapdragons, and you can see some of my little sweet peas are starting to pop up. Do you see them? There's a few there. That's exciting. Okay, so I do have some bromilliads over here. I got them maybe about a year ago. They were going to be thrown out, and I actually just left them in that section. This wasn't never intended to leave them here permanently. I do need to transplant them out, but look, some of them are actually flowering. Aren't they absolutely stunning? I can't believe how vibrant the colours are, that like nature can create this with the purple and hot pinks. Really lovely. Not quite sure where I'm going to put them yet, so for the moment they seem happy enough here, so I'm going to leave them there. There's another pretty little area in the garden. No sign of my sweet peas popping up here yet. I think these were actually the ones I just direct sowed. So my other sweet peas I actually soaked them overnight. But look at these, all the beans here and here, and this one, I think that one might be some type of pumpkin or melon or something, and they've just got no chance, have they? All these little seedlings that will never come to anything, unfortunately. Got a lot of cosmos, and there's loads of cosmos in there as well. Oh well, it'll be their time to shine next year. I put even more of those calendulas in here. I love calendulas, I think you can tell, right beside the lime tree. There's a lovely lime there. I did a big harvest on my cucamelons this week, and look at the grappa pumpkin. How cool is that looking? Still hasn't shown any signs of like dying back yet. This may be here until our first frost, perhaps. But then down at the bottom here, the snow peas that I put in here are starting to pop up. You can see one there, so that's pretty cool. And I couldn't let a week go by without showing you some of the dahlias again. But thanks so much for watching this week's video. I did a bit different this week. I didn't actually do any kind of garden harvest. I just gave you a bit more of a look around the garden. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in more videos similar to this, or would you like some more videos with a nice garden harvest, please let me know in the comments below. Or if you have any other ideas, any suggestions you have, I'm really open to suggestions. Whatever you think, just put them in the comments and I'll have a read through them and see how I go. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching, and until next week, I'll say my corny little phrase, happy gardening.